Hi everyone, welcome to today's vlog. You'll have to excuse me, I've got loads and loads of layers on because if you've been watching us for a while you'll know that we live very frugally. We don't have any central heating and it's cold today, so I'm all layered up. I'm nice and warm. I'm going to talk today about the research and things that I found out about the non-lucrative visa. If you're new here, Martin, my husband, and I are in the process of selling our house and we're going to move permanently to live in the Canary Islands in Fuerteventura. And because sadly the UK is no longer part of the EU, you now have to apply for a visa. There's various different kinds of visas that you can apply for, but we're applying for the non-lucrative visa, or the NLV. And I have a folder here which I've collected lots and lots of paperwork over the last sort of 18 months, and I'm just going through it all because actually I need to throw some of it away because it's out of date, and I just thought I'd share with you a few things that I found and a few resources that I found helpful. We haven't actually started applying for our visa yet, but I'm hoping in the next maybe couple of months we will actually start the process, and I will vlog that in much more detail as and when it happens. But I think it's really important, if you're thinking of applying for this visa, that you do your research. And one of the first things that I just want to say is that I'm not going to discuss our personal finances at any point during this process, this vlogging process. I like to think I'm quite open in the way that I talk on these vlogs, but I do think some things are private, and I know you'll all respect that. So yeah, please don't ask about actual sums of money because I don't want to discuss that. Also, I think it's worth pointing out that things change all the time. You know, when I first started researching 18 months ago, things were quite different. Things do change, some things get easier, you know, both governments are in talks all the time. So do your research, but when you're reading something online or looking at a video online, do check when that was made, you know, because it may be that it's a few years old. I think another thing to point out right at the beginning of this video that we found is that there's a lot of groups on Facebook and there's a lot of really helpful people on them who do know what they're talking about. And there's also lots of really helpful people who don't know what they're talking about. So I urge you, when you're doing your research, to, how can I put it? Don't believe everything you see online. You know, don't believe everything you read on Facebook, because people haven't done their research. Perhaps they've moved before Brexit, or they know somebody who's moved before Brexit, and so they're giving untrue information, and you know that could cause a lot of hassle for you later down the line. So try and, you know, be a bit savvy about who you believe and who you don't believe. A classic example of this is that I was on one of the groups, and there's a lot of them. If you just type in NLV to Spain in Facebook, lots of groups will come up. Somebody was asking, I want to go to Spain and work, and there was lots of replies, correct replies, saying to work now you have to have a visa, blah blah blah. But a couple of people had written, no you don't, I've just been in Spain and there's loads of English people there working. Now, yes there are, but they moved before Brexit. They have full residencia, and yes they are allowed to work in Spain, but it can get very confusing on a lot of these sites. So that's all I'm saying, is just be careful. So my first sort of tip and thing that I did was I chatted to people who have actually made the move, both online and people who already live there. Now, a lot of the people that I talked to who already live there moved before Brexit, so they don't know anything about the visa. And actually, one of my friends has told me all sorts of things. Oh, you can do this, you can do that. And I'm like, no, you can't anymore. So you do have, like I say, you have to be a bit careful. But what people have done is given me lots of sort of cards and flyers and information that might come in really useful. So I've got various business cards for law services and for estate agents, and what's that one? That's another law firm in Coraleco. I've got the name of a lady who will help with paperwork when we get there, with hospital visits, translation. So I'm going to keep all of those. And then I had another piece of paper which was really useful from one of the estate agents, which is all about how you purchase a property in Fuerteventura, and it goes through everything. And I'm going to keep this, and when we buy our property I will share it, and you know, I'll talk about that process then. But that's a really useful thing, so that's all going in my folder to keep. I also have got a few printouts of things that I found really useful when I didn't know anything about the non-lucrative visa. There's lots and lots of websites that you can get, and this is quite a thick, I printed this, or Martin printed this off. You know, this is quite a comprehensive guide, and this one was from a company called Balcells Group. I'll put the email, the website on the screen, and this basically goes through step by step and explains what the non-lucrative visa is. Just check though that it is up to date. I'm sure it is because it's on their website, so I will let you know. I'm going to keep that one for now. I also found this, and this is a really useful thing, and I'm going to read this out to you. It says the non-lucrative visa is a residency permit that will enable you to stay for 1 year in the first instance, but can be renewed. It is for those who will not be working here during that year, so possibly retiring here. I have heard it also called the retirement visa. And these are the things that you need to get the non-lucrative visa. So you need to prove that you've got enough money. You either need private medical insurance, or you now can use a thing called an S1, which if you are receiving a UK state pension, you can apply for an S1 form, and it basically means that your healthcare will be transferred from the NHS over to the Spanish healthcare system. So that's what Martin and I are going to do, because he can get an S1, and because we're married I can go on to his S1. So it means that when we're living there we will be in the Spanish healthcare system, and we will use their healthcare system. It does mean that when we come back to the UK to visit, we'll have to get travel insurance because we won't be entitled to healthcare here. But that's fine. You need to fill in the 5-page national visa application form, which is called the EX01. And with that, you have to have a colour passport photo. You also need an original valid passport. You have to have a criminal records check. Now again, I've got here this is all about the criminal records check, and this information I got from www.acro.police.uk, and again I'll put the web page on the screen for you, so I'm going to keep hold of that. Also need a medical, I don't know how to say it, it's like a medical certificate, which you have to, it basically says that you haven't got any like contagious diseases, and there's various ways of getting that, hopefully through our GP. But again, when we go through the process, I will talk you through all that as and when it happens. And again, I think this is different in different areas and depending on how cooperative your GP is, but we'll see how that goes when it happens. I think it's also worth me saying at this point that you can do this whole process on your own, but we have decided to employ the services of a relocation specialist, and I did, again, a lot of research into this, and we've decided to go with, well, there was 2 companies that I liked the look of. One was called Upsticks, and they seemed very good, and another company called Lifestyle Spain, and we've decided to go with Lifestyle Spain. I will put all the details on the screen, purely because they had an appointment at a time that suited me, so we went with them, and they've been great. You know, we had that first appointment 18 months ago, which is a long time ago, and they've kept in touch. They've been really supportive. We had another meeting with them a couple of weeks ago when we knew that we had sold our house. So we're ready to go with them. I like them. I like the guy that we're dealing with. Yeah, I recommend them. Again, I'm not going to talk about prices because he gave me, or us, a quote 18 months ago. The prices have gone up, but they have honoured that quote, which is really kind of them, but it's not cheap. So again, do your own research. I know some people have done all this themselves and not employed somebody, but I want the kind of the safety net of them helping us through it. What I would say though is both those companies offer a free half an hour like first chat kind of thing, and what they will do is they'll talk you through everything, and they'll ask you questions, and they'll basically tell you whether or not they think you'll be able to actually get the visa. So I would highly recommend doing that, and you know, see, you don't have to then go with them, and that's like a free consultation. I did speak also right at the beginning when we were thinking about doing this to a couple of immigration lawyers in Spain, and again they had a chat with me on the phone. They were more expensive than this company, but they did a chat with me on the phone and answered a few questions and things. So again, do your research, pick somebody that you're comfortable with. And, you know, everyone's journey is different. So, but there are people out there who will help, but you do have to pay them. The other thing in my little folder here, which, again, I printed this off a while ago, but this is from the London consulate. So it's from the Spanish consulate in London, which is where we will have to go to apply for our visa. And depending, the consulates can be quite different. So again, do your research, and if you're applying at the Manchester consulate, don't listen to me who's applying at London, because things can be slightly different. I know, for example, that Manchester don't keep your passports, London do. So, you know, there's quite a lot of differences, and a lot of the online on Facebook groups are from America. So they'll be going to the Chicago or the Los Angeles or whatever. So just be aware of which consulate you're going to and get the information from that consulate. Another website which I look at quite a lot is the British Government gov.uk. Again, type in NLV for Spain and you'll get loads of information. And that information is generally the most up-to-date information that you are going to get. But I did find this document from the London consulate very helpful. It's very kind of formal, but it does say everything that you need to apply for your visa. So I think if you're doing it yourself, this is a really good one to have. And I'm guessing that the Manchester and the Edinburgh consulates have, you know, the similar information available. So it'll explain everything in it. Every single document that you put in for your visa application has to be apostilled or translated, and it has to be done by an official translator. Like, you can't just go on Google Translate and do it yourself. It all has to be done properly. And I believe on the government website there is a list of official apostille people that can do it for you. Again, because we're going with this company, they will sort all of that out, so I don't need to worry about that, which is another reason why I'm happy to pay the money. That's all the bits of paperwork that I've got. The other thing that I've found really useful is watching YouTube videos, and there's one channel in particular that I've found really useful, and it's called U2 Spain. Again, I'll put a bit of info on the screen now. That he is a guy called Scats. He also has a website, which is great, and a Facebook page, and he does a lot of really informative videos about each little part of the visa and the process of moving, and not just the NLV, all the visas. He's gone through the process. Him and his wife already live in Spain, and it's not just him giving his opinion. He gets expert guests onto his channel and then invites people to ask questions. He asks questions as well, and it is people from, so the guy, I think he's called Chris, from Upsticks, which is one of the companies, he's on there quite a bit. That Martin and I were watching one the other day about money, and there was a guy from a company, you know, that deals with money, with transferring money from, you know, your English bank account to Spanish bank accounts. And again, you know, okay, they're trying to get your business, but they are also imparting a lot of information. And if you want to ask questions, it's a great platform to do it on. But again, just be careful that you're not watching really old videos and some of the information may have changed. But I do like that YouTube channel. I find it really helpful. But I think Basels have got one as well, and I think Upsticks have got a YouTube channel. So again, do your research. So that is all my bits of paper that I'm going to put back into my folder, ready for hopefully very soon when we start applying for our NLV. And as I said, I will obviously, sorry, just putting it all away neatly. Ta-da. I will share in real time how our journey progresses, you know, with working with this company, Lifestyle Space. So I will share with you, and I will let you know, what goes well and what doesn't, and all the rest of it. And good luck if you're planning on doing the same thing. It's very exciting, very nerve-wracking, and a bit of a pain, to be honest, especially money-wise. But I'm not going to let Brexit stop me. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.